The cabin stood silent, shrouded in the whispers of the ancient pines surrounding it. The Miller family had traveled far to escape the busyness of their everyday lives. George and Linda, along with their 3 children, Olivia, Eric, and the youngest, Emma, arrived just before dusk. The cabin, an old structure with creaking wooden floors and thick stone walls, seemed like the perfect retreat from their hectic city life. The first night passed uneventfully, with the family settling in, exploring the surrounding forest, and sharing stories by the fire. But as the days went by, the cabin's age began to show, not just in its physical structure, but in the way it seemed to breathe and sigh in the stillness of the night. It started subtly. Olivia, the eldest, complained of whispers echoing in her room, words she couldn't quite understand. Eric noticed shadows that moved unnaturally, always just at the edge of his vision. Emma, only 6, began speaking of a new friend she met in the woods, a pale, sad-looking woman who promised to play with her. George dismissed these occurrences as figments of their imagination. Old houses make noises, he told them, and the forest is full of strange shapes in the dark, but Linda couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Her dreams were filled with visions of a woman, dressed in tattered clothes, her eyes hollow and full of sorrow. The next morning, Emma went missing. Panic set in as they searched the surrounding forest, calling her name until their voices were hoarse. Hours passed, and they found no trace of her. Just as they were about to give up hope, Emma walked out from behind a tree, her expression blank. She said she's lonely, Emma whispered. She wants us to stay with her. The family's terror grew as more inexplicable events unfolded. Doors slammed on their own, windows shattered without cause, and the very walls of the cabin seemed to pulse with a life of their own. George decided they had to leave, but every attempt to do so was thwarted. The car wouldn't start, and the forest paths twisted back on themselves, leading them in circles. One night, as a storm raged outside, Linda found Emma standing in the middle of the living room, staring at an old photograph on the mantelpiece. It was a picture of the cabin from decades ago, with a family standing proudly in front of it. The woman in the picture was the same one from Linda's dreams. They took her children, Emma said, her voice eerily calm. They promised to keep them safe, but they lied. She's angry. She wants her children back. Realization dawned on Linda. The spirit haunting them was that of a mother who had lost her children, likely to the forest, or perhaps to the sinister secrets the cabin held. Desperation led Linda to confront the spirit, demanding to know what she wanted. The response was chilling. The spirit didn't just want her children back. She wanted the Millers to suffer as she had suffered. That night, the spirit's fury manifested fully. The cabin shook, and the air grew thick with the scent of decay. The Millers huddled together, feeling the walls close in on them. The spirit appeared, her form translucent but her rage palpable. "You will never leave," she hissed. In a last-ditch effort to save his family, George made a pact with the spirit. "Take me," he begged, tears streaming down his face. "Just let them go." The spirit considered, her anger giving way to a sorrowful acceptance. "You will stay," she said, "and they will leave, but they will never forget." The next morning, Linda and the children found themselves at the edge of the forest, the cabin no longer in sight. George was gone, taken by the spirit. They returned home, their lives forever altered. Every night Linda dreams of George, trapped in that cabin, and the children hear his voice in the wind, calling out to them. The Miller family's vacation had turned into a nightmare, one that would haunt them for the rest of their lives.